Certainly, thank you, and good morning, Chair, and members of the board, and to all members of the public who are here today. Once again, we do have some overall good news to report about our service. On the rail side, cancellations are down 35% in the first 11 months of this year compared to last year. Cancellations this November, in fact, are down 55% from November of 2018. On-time performance declined somewhat from 91.91% in October to 89.2% in November, but is still up significantly from the 82.2% we experienced last November. On the bus side of our operations, thanks to new bus purchases and graduating more than 650 new bus operators since January of 2018, we continue to average more than 90 new additional bus trips per day. That's out of 10,000 bus trips, roughly 10,000 bus trips per day. While it's clear we still have a long way to go, it is also clear that we are making significant progress, and that progress is not going to stop. I'm also proud to point out that many of these statistics are now available in our new easy-to-use, easy-to-understand online performance dashboard, which went live on November 26th. This was an outgrowth of Executive Order 80, issued by Governor Murphy to ensure greater transparency for New Jersey Transit. The dashboard includes industry standard statistics on our performance, equipment reliability, and service level, and fulfills Governor Murphy's executive order, which directed us to publish these monthly rail performance metrics online. We took that directive and ran with it, going above and beyond what was required to an unprecedented level of transparency and accountability at New Jersey Transit. We'll continue to update the dashboard every month to track on-time performance, mechanical reliability, delays and cancellations, and other important service-related metrics. You can compare and contrast statistics by line or from month to month. We'll also include data for bus, light rail, and access link. In a moment, our Chief Customer Experience Officer and Customer Advocate, Stu Mader, will give a brief presentation to show you exactly how it looks and works. I'll let Stu explain the details, but I'll say this. We've made it easy to use and easy to understand as possible because we want to be held accountable for it all. Stu?
Thank you, Kevin. So as Kevin mentioned, we operate hundreds of trains, buses, light rail, and paratransit vehicles every day. And to help customers and the public see how we're doing, we're making it easy for you to track key performance measures per Governor Murphy's Executive Order 80. On November 26th, we released a detailed dashboard that includes on the new njtransit.com that displays on-time performance, equipment reliability, and the causes for service delays and cancellations. You can view this performance data at njtransit.com/performance. And you'll see 4 gauges at the top of the page, each showing the latest on-time performance at a glance for bus, rail, light rail, and access link paratransit. Below these gauges, you'll find figures showing our progress in renewing our fleet, reinvesting in our customer experience, and rebuilding our ranks of talented staff, including locomotive engineers, bus operators, conductors, and everyone else throughout our organization who is essential to running the largest statewide transit network in the nation. Selecting a gauge will take you to a page with more detailed data. Let's take a look at rail as an example. The rail page provides system-wide metrics as well as individual line-by-line metrics for each individual rail line. The rail page also highlights on-time performance for each individual line and overall on-time performance from January 2017 to the present. Cancellations by cause are also displayed from January 2017 to the present, and for example, in October 2019, 1.2% of trains were canceled, and the chart provides a breakdown of the causes, including mechanical issues, unpreventable, other railroads, and human factors. Tapping the question mark in the upper right of the chart will show you easy-to-read, customer-friendly definitions of each of the cancellation cause types. And for example, unpreventable cancellations are defined as incidents that are outside of New Jersey Transit's control, including inclement weather, flooding, external utility and power failures, medical emergencies, trespassers, and local police activity. Mean distance between failures, rail equipment reliability, is provided from January 2017 to the present as well. And as the chart shows, October 2019 is the 4th consecutive month of improvement, and we've been on an upward trend in terms of rail reliability throughout 2019. Pages for bus, light rail, and access link also provide on-time performance and equipment reliability metrics, and will continue to refine and update the dashboard with new data on a monthly basis. I'd like to thank everyone across our bus, rail, light rail, and access link operations, our partners in IT, our communications and customer service team, creative services team, and our social media team who invested significant time and effort to design and build this dashboard, assemble all the necessary data, and communicate the benefits of this tool to our customers and the public. I'd also like to share that I've redesigned the monthly report to the Operations and Customer Service Committee to make use of this dashboard, and the report I delivered on December 2nd incorporated the charts that you see here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. As we work to improve and increase transparency, we're also training more locomotive engineers than ever before. Later today, I'll be joining Governor Murphy to celebrate 11 trainees who are on track to successfully complete the on-the-job training portion of our locomotive engineering training program. These trainees are poised to become full-fledged engineers the next month after completing their final check rides. This is also a very special class. It's a pilot class made up exclusively of assistant conductors. Working collaboratively with the FRA, Federal Railway Administration, we use an innovative approach to leverage the students' previous extensive railroad training while still meeting the curriculum's rigorous requirements. For our customers, that means more locomotive engineers on the job as soon as possible and fewer train cancellations. I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. Overall, during the two-year period of 2019 and 2020, we'll graduate 7 classes of locomotive engineers, the same number of classes that graduated in the previous 5 years combined. We're training and hiring more locomotive engineers than ever before in New Jersey Transit's history. This also seems like a perfect opportunity to recognize extraordinary contributions by our Human Resources Department, along with our Bus Operations Training Department, which have been working overtime to replenish what was a severely understaffed and hollowed-out agency. In total, since January 2018, we've hired more than 2,000 union and non-union employees. When you factor in retirements and other normal attrition, the net gain during this period is more than 1,600 employees. That's out of a total of roughly 11,500. On the management side, we've brought in some of the nation's highest caliber new leadership from both the public and private sectors to fill key roles. I want to highlight in particular the extraordinary efforts in recruiting, hiring, and training more than 650 bus operators since January 2018. This effort has yielded significant benefits for our bus customers in terms of fewer missed trips and our ability to add capacity on some of the fastest growing routes in our system, like the 126 and 119 routes in Hoboken and Jersey City, respectively. These new operators, along with the new buses we'll be taking receipt of in 2020, will result in nearly 2,000 more passenger trips each weekday, more than 500,000 additional passenger trips per year. On the HR side, I'd like to acknowledge Tina Murphy, Deputy Chief of HR, and her team. Tina, please stand with your team. And on the training side, I'd also like to recognize Rebecca Peralta, Deputy General Manager of Performance Assurance Training, and her team for the work to train an unprecedented number of bus operators in a very brief time frame. Rebecca? An applause certainly is certainly in order. That means hundreds of thousands of riders, through next year who have a lot to all of you, and that certainly is appreciated by, I'm sure, all on the board as well. In particular, I would like to, speaking of the board, I know Ray Graves is on calling in on this, for working with Mike Gilcoyne, the head of our bus division, and his team on an agreement that allowed senior experienced bus operators to come in and augment our bus training staff in order to meet this critical mission. Again, thanks everyone for a job well done. While talking about high quality hires, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the newest member of our executive leadership team. Please join me in welcoming Carmen Tavares, who joined us last month and will lead our new Office of Real Estate, Economic Development, and Transit-Oriented Development. As many of you may remember, last year, Governor Murphy signed legislation requiring New Jersey Transit to establish this office. And we couldn't be more pleased to welcome Carmen to take on this role. Carmen joined us recently from Wereldhave, USA, a subsidiary of the European-based Public Real Estate Investment Trust, and has more than 20 years of diverse real estate management experience. Her notable transactions include the sale of 20 Exchange Place, a 56-story office tower in New York City's financial district, and the development of a 120-acre site in San Antonio, Texas. There, she worked closely with the local community, government authorities, and Department of Transportation to develop a master plan for a $500 million project, 1.8 million square foot, sustainable mixed-use development. Carmen will be instrumental in our vision to more aggressively use TOD, transit-oriented development, to develop underutilized properties around transit, optimize the value of assets across the state, create sustainable, environmentally friendly growth and development, and generate additional non-fare box revenue, which will ultimately benefit our customers. Carmen, want to, so where's, there you are, there, Carmen. Yeah. Great to have you on board. We have been, as we touched on restoring service on bus and on rail, should also add Newark light rail. As we have been transforming our organization internally and started focusing on adding service and restoring service. Certainly after restoring service in and out of New York on weekdays recently on the RVL and on the peak, the MOBO trains and select reverse peak trains after the summer's Amtrak work. We are now increased weekday peak period service on the Newark Light Rail Broad Street extension to allow trains to operate on a reliable, steady schedule of every 10-minute headways. This follows extremely positive customer feedback from the trial that we did this summer during the Amtrak work to really make for a smooth, predictable flow between Newark Penn Station and Newark Broad Station. Based on that feedback, we incorporated that into a regular service now every 10 minutes from approximately 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. at rush and from 3:30 to 8:30 p.m. every weekday. Previously, as many of you know, it was a schedule operated anywhere between 10 and 19 minutes and it was unpredictable. And the feedback, we don't yet have the ridership comparisons since we just introduced it, but I would say as a regular customer on the extension, I can tell you anecdotally that ridership is definitely increasing significantly as a result of this new enhanced service. Another thing on the project side, another way we're working to improve service is by pushing aggressively on a number of major capital projects, several which I've reported over the last number of board meetings. Today, I'm pleased to report significant progress on our County Yard Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility. Last month, we received the last major environmental permit needed to begin construction at the Delco Lead portion of the facility. As part of this project, Amtrak began demolition work at County Yard, which is right along the northeast quarter near south of New Brunswick, and began demolition work at County Yard, which will facilitate future construction work by New Jersey Transit to improve and expand the yard. We're excited to be progressing so rapidly and working successfully with this on Amtrak, and the importance of this project, it will help protect New Jersey Transit rail cars. As you may recall, during Hurricane Sandy, many of the rail cars were damaged at Hoboken. This will allow us now to put all our rail cars up in a safe place and protect them during storms, and then allows us to inspect and service the trains at a centrally located service inspection facility so they can quickly be returned to service following any extreme event that would require moving them up there. And this also ensures more resilient, reliable service for all our customers along the northeast quarter. To conclude my comments this morning, I'd like to recognize three extraordinary employees. I think there are often occasions when, some people will knock our staff, and sometimes that gets publicity. There are often a lot of really great things done by a lot of New Jersey Transit staff that don't necessarily get the recognition and can get overlooked. The three employees here today, John Hayden, Rashawn Rhodes, and Luis Cesares, will you please stand? A round of applause. The reason we're recognizing these gentlemen is on Tuesday, December 3rd, during the height of the evening peak rush hour on the M&E, train 881 was en route where the female passenger became ill, vomited, and passed out on the train as it was leaving Summit Station. The crew, John Hayden is a brakeman, Rashawn is a conductor, and Luis is the engineer, who are here with me today, immediately notified the dispatcher, called New Jersey Transit Police and EMS, and arranged to meet at Chatham Station, the next station up, in a matter of minutes to get the assistance to help with the passenger. During that time, they also made an announcement to all the other passengers to see if a doctor or nurse was on board, and made repeated updates to the passengers to let them know what was going on and what they could expect in the timing. I actually happened to be on board on that train and came forward to see if I could help. The sick woman, apparently a seizure, was removed by EMS as arrival at Chatham, well coordinated with the police and the crew, and the train actually was quickly back on its way with some delay, but certainly relatively minor delays, while still being attentive to the sick woman. The coach was evacuated because of the effects of the woman being ill, and closed off for the remainder of the trip, and the other passengers were accommodated the other cars. When the coach arrived Hoboken, it was cleaned and then returned to service. These three employees did not hesitate to act, to communicate well, and to help when one of the customers needed their help most, while also addressing the concerns of other customers, both on the train, and they took control of the situation, did everything in their power to get the customer the care she needed. They also ensured that service was not interrupted for the customers on board and the tens of thousands of customers coming home on the trains that were held behind them. That's why now in the normal course of business, when you see these conductors and crews that do these kind of things, we really appreciate the effort they make. That often goes unrecognized in these kind of situations. So for taking that kind of those kind of actions and professionally following up even under the most difficult time of the day in this difficult situations, I would like to give a big round of applause and recognition for these gentlemen. Want to get a picture?
Evan, does that conclude your comments?
Yeah, yes, that does. We're just taking a quick photo, Commissioner.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
The next speaker is Jason Panero.
Good morning, Kevin Corbett, and good morning to the NJT Board. Has been 3 months already since the last report of positive train control, and we are approximately 365 days away for December 31st, 2020 deadline. When are we going to see a more broader report regarding positive train control? Because as you guys know, if NJT doesn't comply with this term, on January 1st, 2021, there will be no trains running. So that means passengers will be stranded in New York and in New Jersey. So my request will be, give a more transparent report, include every single line, including the Port Jervis line and the Pascagoula line. And talking about the Pascagoula line, they should deserve a second express train that was taken away from them a long time ago. This express train is let's say it's necessary and it's way overdue. And we don't want to see 4 slides on a report. We want to see details. We want to see transparency like the MTA does every single month, that they provide a broader detail of what things are going on. I don't see that over here. And I hope that, Kevin, you are listening to that message. And my last request will be, please meet with the advocates, because the advocates are the ones that are on the field riding the trains every single day. And over here at New Jersey Transit Corporation, they feel ignored. Why? Why are we ignored? And the MTA, they listen to us every single time. If we have a complaint or issue or anything, they listen to us. Why not over here, where we see canceled trains with no regional explanation? Why we have events like the VMAs across the street in the Prudential Center with no extra service? So you guys should explore what you got, and when you guys have long events like the VMAs in the future, explore expanding service and provide extra service for those who are attending the activities, going to the activity and going home. Because it was a huge embarrassment when in August you guys had the VMAs over here in the Prudential Center and you guys didn't provide extra service for the activity. So I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Orrin Getz.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board. My name is Orrin Getz, and I'm on the Metro North Rail Commuter Council, representing commuters who ride Metro North. The mayor of Perth Amboy spoke very well on the need to have her station upgraded and made handicapped accessible. Well, we have a critical situation in Suffern, New York, and we need help from New Jersey Transit. This station is owned by New Jersey Transit, and we need it actually turned over to the MTA so that the MTA can do the work on making that station handicapped accessible. It's a critical thing for Rockland County. Our County Executive Ed Day is fully behind it, and we need your help on making sure that we can get Suffern Station handicapped accessible. Also, I'm extremely disappointed on the response of Kevin Corbett in his December 2nd letter to Kathy Rinaldi, the chairman of the, president of Metro North. We are missing our second express train and on the Pascagoula Valley line, and we still don't have a status of when we're going to get it back, and that's very important. New Jersey Transit should set goals and set a schedule on when they're going to restore the trains and let us know what it is and try to keep to that schedule. If you don't have a schedule, you really have no plan of when you're going to restore those trains. Also, as I said before, the advocates. The advocates are very knowledgeable people who ride the trains daily. We did have advocates meetings with previous executive directors. We had it with Ronnie Hakam. We had it with Jeff Warsh. We had it with George Warrington. We really need to see and have more meetings with New Jersey Transit staff so that we can let people know what's going on. Also, we need better status on positive train control. Metro North already has PTC up and running on the Hudson line all the way from Spuyten Duyvil up to Poughkeepsie. And that not only involves using Metro North trains, but also the trains of Amtrak and the trains of the freight railroads. So they're up and running, but I haven't seen what New Jersey Transit's going to do, and we're very, very concerned about that. We need a much better status from New Jersey on positive train control. Also, we need to know what's going to happen with the Pascagoula Valley line sidings. Years ago, there was a memorandum of understanding to stop building two of the critical sidings because the mayor of Oradell took out a lawsuit against New Jersey Transit. There is a very important need for those sidings, and we need New Jersey Transit to revisit the memorandum of understanding to make sure that this project is restarted. Our County Executive Ed Day has been pushing for this, and we'd like to see this come to fruition. It's important for not only New York customers, but very important also for New Jersey Pascagoula Valley line customers. And one final thing is the board. There's only a few of you here. I go to Metro North committee meetings, and I see all the board members that they have. They come in, they use mass transit to get to their meetings. You need a large board to get a full understanding of what's going on the railroad. And it's very important that you work with the governor and make sure you get the proper appointments, because this board is just too small. It's not really effective. I don't see any discussions amongst board members at these meetings like I do see at the Metro North Committee meetings, where the board members do discuss these things and important issues at depth, because they're very knowledgeable about what's going on. Please, we need a larger board of board members on the New Jersey Transit Board of Directors. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Randy Glucksman.
Good morning. I am one of those board members that my predecessor, Orrin Getz, talked about. As I said, good morning. Nothing has changed. There's still the same board members who represent, who don't represent riders. You're nice people. I don't have anything against you, but you don't ride the trains and you don't see what's going on. I wish that the resolution would come soon because people who can have this expertise could provide it. No doubt, you've seen the press releases, the letters regarding service between Metro-North President Catherine Rowley and Kevin Corbett, CEO here, about the restoration of the contractually agreed-upon Metro-North Expresses. Last week, even your state Senate President, Mr. Sweeney, said that it was unacceptable that these trains are not restored. I mean, my question is, don't you need the money that Metro-North is withholding from paying you? Again, refer to the press release of May 3rd of 2018, where you wrote that all those trains, my 2 trains and the other 16 trains statewide, would be restored in early 2019. And I've been asking this question at every meeting I've been to since the beginning of the year. I'm concerned about all the trains. You must have a planning department here, so somewhere in this building, someone must have a timetable as to when those trains will be restored. In fact, that very nice presentation about your dashboard, I would suggest adding a section called goals. And the goals would be to determine when, by line, each of those 18 trains, and I understand there are other trains that have disappeared in previous years, would be restored to the schedule. This way people will know when they could plan. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.